Hello guys, this is Rihan and today we are going to talk about a very important topic. It is the decision between USMLE and PLAB. This is a decision that you have to make in your years of medical education as to what pathway do you want to pursue. Like, do you want to go for the US or do you want to go for the UK? So let's jump into it. So before we start, I want you to know that ultimately it's your decision. You should listen to what you want. You can take advice from me or from your seniors or teachers, but at the end it's your choice. So do whatever your heart wants, right? So let's jump right into it. So the time required. So USMLE, it's a long pathway. It requires at least 2 to 3 years minimum for you to be able to complete USMLE in a proper way. On the other hand, PLAB is a bit shorter. It just requires maximum a year. Expenses. So USMLE is a bit more expensive as compared to PLAB. It requires at least 20 to 25,000 US dollars. So if you convert it to the Pakistani rupees, based on current conversion rate, it roughly amounts to 25 to 35 lakhs Pakistani rupees, keeping in mind the conversion rate of February 2020. On the other hand, PLAB is a bit more affordable. It only requires 5 to 6,000 US dollars, which roughly amounts to 8 to 12 lakh Pakistani rupees. Required exams. So USMLE has 4 exams for you to complete. Step 1, it requires at least a year. So trust me on this, guys, this is the most difficult exam you'll come across during your career. Like, it tests basic subjects including anatomy, physiology, biochem, etc., and it really tests you and really strengthens your concepts, and you have to have a good grip on your basics in order to get a good score on this exam. Then there's step 2 CK. It requires only 3 to 6 months. It basically tests your final year subjects, your clinical subjects including medicine, surgery, OBGYN, pediatrics, etc. And third is step 2 CS. It's a bit easier exam as compared to these two. So it only requires 1 month, and this exam basically tests your ability to interact with an American patient and to talk in English and effectively give them a physical exam. Lastly, this is step 3. It all only requires 2 to 3 months. Actually, it's not required per se for you to get a residency spot, but most of the people do that and gives you a certain advantage during the interview season. So I would highly recommend you to take your step 3 before applying for residency. On the other hand, PLAB. So first you have to take an English language exam, either IELTS or OET. It depends on you, but personally I think OET is very easy as compared to IELTS, especially for non-native speakers like myself. So I'd highly advise you to consider OET instead of PLAB if you want to pursue the PLAB pathway. After that it comes PLAB 1. It also tests your basic sciences such as anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, etc., but it's way easier than USMLE step 1. I repeat, PLAB 1 is super easy. It only requires 1 to 2 months. So it's a very easy exam as compared to step 1. Then there's PLAB 2. You have to take PLAB 2 in UK, and there are certain academies in UK which prepare you for the physical exam part, and you have to take in the UK as well. Then there's a difficulty level. USMLE is super tough. This is coming from personal experience, so take it from me, guys. If you want to pursue USMLE, you need to understand that this is no joke, and you'll have to work really hard to get a good score. And speaking of score, you need at least 250 plus to be competitive these days, because these days the competition is super saturated and you need to stand ahead of the crowd, right? So you need at least 250 plus, which is really hard to get these days, but nothing is unachievable if you work hard enough, right? On the other hand, PLAB is super easy. So you just need to pass PLAB. You don't need to beat the crowd or something like that. and currently the passing rate is 67%, which means that out of 100 MCQs you just have to get 67 of them right in order to get a passing score. Next is the job scene, and this is a very important slide, so read it carefully. USMLE. There is no job guarantee even after clearing all exams. In other words, let's suppose you have cleared all the 4 exams required to complete USMLE. Still, there is no guarantee that you'll get a residency spot in the US even after spending all the time and money into it. So unless you get matched into a hospital program, there is no way you can get a job. And the IMG residency match rate is 50%, which means that if 100 people apply in the USMLE match system, only 50% of them get through to the residency these days. And you can pretty much forget about novel specialties like ortho, radioderma, etc., anesthesia, what else, ENT and all the other novel specialties. PLAB, on the other hand, you get the job as soon as you pass PLAB 2. Some of my friends have even gotten the job in 1 week per se, so keep that in mind. You start working as SHO, which is a non-training job. It is equivalent to medical officer in Pakistan or India. Then you transition to a training PG position over the years, so keep that in mind. And there is a certain degree of job market for novel specialties in the UK for an international medical graduate. But you have to keep in mind that they decide based on your CV and other stuff, etc., but nothing is unachievable if you work hard enough and if you're willing to go the extra mile to get that novel residency. Next is the earning part, which is the most important slide, at least for me. So let me show you a table real quick. So this is a comparison of general practitioners' pay across the world, and as you can see, United States has the highest pay for general physicians, somewhere around 150, and you can see UK has a slightly less average, and the average lies around 80. So yeah, you can see that for GPs US is the best, and that can be generalized to other specialties as well. So the average income of a doctor in US is $300,000 per year, which roughly amounts to 5 crore in Pakistani rupees, and Indian friends can convert it into their currency as well. And some subspecialties which have a lot of procedures and interventions, their earning may reach up to $800,000 per year. So you can achieve that American dream by pursuing USMLE. PLAB, on the other hand, the average income is generally lower. It's around 100 to 150,000 per year, but like if you get a good specialty in the UK, you'll have a higher pay as well, so don't worry about that. But generally PLAB, after doing PLAB, the UK physicians have income lower than the US physicians, so keep that in mind. And I think this is the only slide where USMLE wins square, right? So this is just a meme I found on the internet. So doctors after becoming a consultant in the US, and it is partially true at some level, I agree. So verdict, guys, I think PLAB wins. If you consider all the aspects of both pathways, I think PLAB is better than USMLE, but in the long run, if you're persistent enough, USMLE is more rewarding and it makes you richer. So thank you guys, support me on Patreon, link is in the description. If you have any questions for me, drop them down in the comments and I'll try to answer them. Thank you very much. Like, share and subscribe for more videos. Thank you.